Okay guys, I'm here today with Chris Payne. It's a huge honor for me. Guys, Chris is the founder of In Theory Jiu-Jitsu, and he's also a Jiu-Jitsu instructor at BJJ Globe Trotters, which is an amazing organization. And they have all these amazing instructors that teach on all those camps, and Chris is one of them. And this week, Chris is shooting an entire instruction over here, all about kind of strategically guard passing for no gi. And you guys will see that Chris is very conceptual on how he teaches, which is amazing because he really focuses on the concepts. And today, Chris, you're gonna teach the idea of the 6-5-4,
yes.
4-5. So can you explain more about that?
Thank you. So within the system, within the instruction that we're coming out with, at home I call it elements. I refer to elements quite a lot during the instructional. And the idea of elements is being able to isolate various parts of Jiu-Jitsu. So before we get to any sort of submission or anything like that, is creating a framework that we can isolate different parts and then work on certain parts of Jiu-Jitsu and then move on to the next part. So elements one would be understanding hand fighting from standing. So how to have a good posture, how to engage upon people's arms, how to not put yourself in dangerous situations. Element two is then following someone back into, taking them down in the first place. So instead of learning Jiu-Jitsu the front way of a snap down, a shot, and a double leg, is to actually do it backwards. Is to understand how we can bring someone back into the ground. So we start from the ground. We actually start with someone who's in turtle. One person has connection over their hips, one person gets to standing, and then you bring them back into the ground again. And so instead of just learning I'm going to do 10 double legs, etc., is you have someone who is now doing one person who's trying to increase their balance, while one person then learns how to bring them back into the ground. And so it's that symbiotic relationship.
Yep.
And so while one person gets better with the takedown, one person gets better at balance, and then this we kind of increase. And then once you learn elements one again of the hand fighting, you know that if you beat their hands and make connection to their hips, you have all that experience in how to then mat return someone into the ground. Elements three is now we start into the strategic part of the system, in that as soon as you hit the floor, I know what your next move is, and that is going to either going to play guard or get back to your feet again, which involves your legs. So as soon as you start falling, I should automatically go to attach onto your legs and start to try and pin your legs into the ground, staple them, shelf them, all those manner of things. And so we're going to isolate that section out. Four is, something we did in the other video, is how can I be in someone's guard and try and be as safe as possible. So turning my structure strong, reinforcing my shoulder blades back and down my back, try and make sure I have strong balance, make sure my shoulders aren't being rotated, because I don't want my arms to come out to kimuras and patas, etc. And that's going to be elements four. Elements five is once the legs are dead, how do I pass the legs? And still keep them in control, because what is the next move of someone who's underneath, who's getting their guard passed? It's to shrimp or turtle, which means they're using their legs. So how can I smash their legs into the ground to stop those things from happening? And then element six is, before I get side control or high mount or any of those things, they're still going to try and use their legs to escape. So how can I kind of ride their legs, similar to what you see Craig doing right now and Gordon? How can I kind of ride their legs whilst I look for that upper body control, so try and limit their ability to escape? And so 4, 5, 6 within the system means that we can then do a drill where I'm in someone's guard, learning how to kill their legs while maintaining good posture and balance to stop them kazushiing me, passing their knees, and then going to a riding situation that they, before I get my full control. And then what happens if it fails is that, again, part of the sequential nature of elements is that I know what your next move is going to be, is that if I lose control of your legs, what you're about to do, you're about to use your legs to escape.
Good.
And so I can go back down the numbers, 6, 5, 4, and go straight back into killing your legs again before I go back up the numbers again. So it means that, from especially from a beginner's perspective, instead of learning Jiu-Jitsu the traditional way of here's a closed guard, an armbar, and a rear naked choke, is the main things you'll hear back from people is, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing, but being able to give them this framework of hand fight, mat return, follow the legs down, kill the legs,
yep,
pass the knees, and then ride the legs. We can give them out in the first couple of weeks, and now they're already useful members of a team. We can say, right, you're here, you can do this now,
right.
You can be helpful for the rest of the team. It's going to be a great framework to try and build upon.
Got it. So can you demonstrate few examples of the 4, 5, 6, which are the ones that really relate to the instruction, right?
Sure, yeah. So when I'm in someone's guard, I know what he wants to do. He wants to try and collapse my shoulder structures. He wants to try and bend my spine. And he wants to try and maybe rotate my legs or unbalance me. And so I want to make sure that's as difficult as possible. So as I go into his guard, I'm going to make sure my elbows are tucked in. So my fingers, I should be able to see a U with my fingers, not a C or an L. Because if he starts to come around here and starts to put pressure on my, if my elbows are tucked in, and he starts to do the exact same thing, he's going to have a hard time trying to like, open up my arms.
Yeah.
I want to put pressure on his ankles because I want to make his legs as weak as possible. You can see he's exceptionally strong legs here. But if I can put pressure of his ankles in towards his butt, or almost like I feel like I stole this, if I can drag his heel away from his butt as well, make his hamstring weak, it makes his legs quite difficult to use. So I want to be within his guard, reinforce my structures, and now if he wants to use his guard against me,
I'm stuck here.
Yeah, and if he wants to then try and collapse my postures, like try and go for guillotines or triangles or any of those things, like if I have a bad posture, if I have a weak back, then I'm going to get stuck in all the manner of guillotines. But I can at least slow him down if I can pull my shoulder blades back and down my back and align my spine. Because even down here, I can make it more difficult for him. And that's going to be elements 4, is how to be safe within someone's guard and try and shut their legs down. Elements 5 is then getting around the knees and controlling their legs at the same time, because his next move is probably going to be shrimping or it's going to be rolling away into turtle. But if I can control his legs, he can't do those things. And so I should be able to do it slowly and controlled, that I'm not just diving for side control. Because if I dive for side control, his next move is to use his legs. And then before I start to attack his upper body, once I'm past his knees, I can then go for riding situations and try and still shelve his legs. So I'm shutting down his next opportunity for escape of using his legs in some capacity. And now I can start working for my high controls, try and look for my deep underhooks, try and look for Dagestani handcuffs before I go for like a high mount or anything along those lines. And so a 6-5-4, 4-5-6 drill would be, so that was 4-5-6, going up to here. And then as he starts to escape, so I lose control and he starts to try and get his guard back or do those things, I can instantly go back into killing his guard before it exists. So I'm already putting staples in and reinforcing my posture and putting all my resources onto killing his guard because I know what his next move is. Now, Jiu-Jitsu is very linear in that pattern, is that if I've started to get dominance, his next move is decided. He's going to try and use his legs to attack me. And the better someone is at Jiu-Jitsu, the more likely they're going to use their legs. They're going to use their legs more effectively, so I need to put all my resources onto killing their legs.
So wait a second, so the drill you use here, it's almost like 4, 5, 6, setting up the posture, beating the legs, passing the legs, establishing. And then you kind of reverse engineering that. You go backwards, like 6, 5, 4, 4, 5, 6, 6, 5, 4, 4, 5, 6.
Yes.
Is that the right idea?
Yeah, so it's what if I fail? What if I fail my control? It's strategically knowing what your next move is. So I can already interpret it and go back to the corresponding number.
That's super interesting. Super interesting.
So it means that even without teaching people loads of different techniques and ideas, they know what the next move is. Like the person's going to try and use their legs to try and unbalance or break the posture. And so we just go straight back into killing the legs again. And so that thing can't happen. So it means that even beginners can have a good fundamental of understanding of.
No, and I love like when someone can take a concept and implement a drill for that concept. You know, like I think this is very helpful.
Yeah, thank you.
So guys, Chris this week shot an entire instructional all about strategically guard passing for no gi, and he also has another 4 instructionals at bjjfanatics.com. So make sure to check that out. He's an amazing instructor. One of the reasons that BJJ Globe Trotters chooses him to teach on their camps. And make sure to check that out at bjjfanatics.com. Maybe by the time you're watching this video, it's already there. So check that out. And thanks so much, Chris.
Thank you,
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Please help me out to grow my YouTube channel. Just click subscribe. And to watch more videos, just click under see more videos. I hope you enjoyed.
BJJFanatics.com. Use the promo code YouTube Faria to get 10% off any instructional video. Improve your jiu-jitsu faster.